What up, though, Field G's, and welcome back to Luke G's Field Review. Today, we are going to be addressing a lot of the football world and things that happened over the last few days, and just from the previous week of what happened with the Lions versus the Chargers. Now, I generally do these podcast shows because I want you guys to have something to listen to when you're at work, you're in the car, you're in the office, and you want to hear about your team, and I had to wait through hours upon hours of mainstream media talking about the same people over and over. So let's get right into it. First things first, the Detroit Lions release running back CJ Anderson. And I got to be honest with you, I was sad to see him go. However, I understand why they had to release him. One of the things that we as fans have been complaining about for the longest is we don't develop anybody. We keep people too long when they're just not producing. So I take my hat off to Bob Quinn again because, and I gotta say Matt Patricia too, but they refuse to have a repeat of what happened last year with LeGarrette Blount. With LeGarrette Blount, he wasn't getting the job done. He was not doing the things that was needed for us to have success with him coming in relief of Kerryon Johnson. And when you look at CJ Anderson, he was in a similar boat. But this move was not so much about CJ Anderson as much as it was about Ty Johnson. This move was about putting the young guy in a position to get better and better, get more reps. And what better way to do that than to remove somebody that is in his way? And to me, this is a brilliant thing to do. Ty Johnson has proven that he deserves a chance to run this ball. Now, many of you are going to say, well, why did they bring in Paul Perkins? They still want a short yardage back. And one of the things I noticed with CJ Anderson in the first two games that he played with the Lions was on 3rd and 1, he wasn't breaking tackles and getting that push that you would want to see out of your power back. He just wasn't getting it done. That's what he was brought here for. He didn't achieve that. Now, Ty Johnson was supposed to be was said to be a speed guy, but he showed power. He was breaking those tackles. He was being patient with his vision, getting in and out of his cuts and getting upfield. We wasn't getting that production out of CJ, and therefore they removed him. Now, some of y'all are going to say, well, why cut CJ and then keep Jamal Agnew? Because the special teams as a whole was bad. See, this is the problem. We can't say the offense as a whole was bad. We can certainly say the special teams as a whole was bad. They're not blocking. When it comes time for kick and punt return, they have a lot of penalties. Majority of our penalties are occurring on special teams. When it comes time for kickoffs and punting, they're not covering their lanes and they're tackling poorly. And again, penalties is becoming an issue. So we know that Jamal Agnew had a fumble against the Cardinals. Huge mistake. His confidence took a hit big time from there. We know that he had another fumble against the San Diego Chargers. Luckily, a penalty was called on the San Diego Chargers that bailed him out. He got benched. I think this is a confidence issue, but the coaches are looking at it from this standpoint that, guess what? The rest of the special team ain't no good neither. Now, he certainly got to be better as a cornerback, obviously, but overall, you know, if we wiping him out, we got a lot of people to wipe out on special teams because they're not doing their job as well. And speaking of that Chargers game, it was a happy but sad moment because to me, for the last 2 weeks, the Lions have went up against teams with a number of injuries. And we, the Lions, have come out with very few scars. Now, I know that Hand ain't playing, Austin Bryant ain't playing, Jared Davis ain't playing. I know this. But compared to what the two teams has lost that we played, We come out with a tie and a 3-point win against the Chargers. Not acceptable. I made a video talking about some of the things that I saw in Matthew Stafford in that Chargers game, and I had a lot of pushback from a number of people and a lot of support from a number of people. The fact is that many people simply did not want to hear the truth. And the truth is we killed Jamal Agnew for his bad play. We killed Taylor Decker for his bad play. Okay? We killed CJ Anderson for not being able to generate production. We killed Trey Flowers for making all this money, and where is he at? We killed the defensive line for not living up to the bill that we're paying. Why can't we do the same thing for Stafford? And anybody who know me know that I'm a huge Staffords fan. I am, and that I defend him at every rate. But what I saw on Sunday was very alarming, because unlike those past years where Stafford is constantly under pressure, constantly being hit while delivering the ball, receivers dropping the ball, that wasn't the case on Sunday. On Sunday, it wasn't a case of drop passes. It wasn't. It wasn't a case of constant pressure. It wasn't. It wasn't a case of him being sacked multiple times. He played significantly that game with a whole lot of clean pockets and time to throw, and he was off. It could be because he didn't play in no preseason games. It could be because it's a new offense. Whatever the excuse is, those, or the explanation, those could all be fair. But the truth is, when it's third down or a crucial down and receivers were open, he was not doing his best. He was phenomenal game one against the Cardinals. Phenomenal against the Cardinals. I came on the post game with the opening statement off rip, right off back, saying the following: if you come in here and say anything about Stafford, I'm putting you on timeout. Because he was phenomenal against the Cardinals. This game, I can't say that. I couldn't. We got a special teams problem, people, and it's apparent to me. Something that happens more than once is a problem. We were not good on special teams against the Cardinals. We were not good on special teams against the Chargers. We got a problem there. Our defensive line, they're not living up to the bill. They're not generating enough pressure by themselves. I don't like the way that they're utilizing Mike Daniels, and I don't like the way that they're utilizing Trey Flowers. I don't. Got a problem there. But the good side of it is our linebacking core is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Our secondary is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. I don't like that our safety, Tracy Walker, is the leading tackler. That means too many plays is getting to him. But they're not as bad as we thought they was going to be. In terms of that Chargers game, I was disappointed in Darius Slay. Yeah, I know he made the interception that counted, but man, he got bullied. He got bullied. He certainly lost the battle, and if you want to say he won the war with that interception, fine. It was certainly a bad pass from Phillip Rivers, but I did not expect for them to come in that game and bully him. The Cardinals stayed away from him. They was like, we don't want no parts of him. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers was like, nope, he's the one we going to target. Keenan Allen was doing him dirty the whole game. And if Phillip Rivers was on target, we would have had an even longer day. Okay? So, those little things matter to me. Okay? Terrell Crosby filled in at left tackle in the Chargers game. Did a good job. Yeah, I give kudos to the coaching staff for giving him help. I give him so much kudos just for being able to leave a tight end over there. I love the fact that teams are looking at TJ Hockenson like he is Tony Gonzalez, like he is Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Shannon Sharp. They're on this dude, making sure he doesn't get off because they realize he's a threat. That's good. And I love the fact that the receivers are stepping up. That's good. But Kerryon Johnson and these carries, we got to talk about that. When are the Lions going to realize that you have to put the ball in the hands of your greatest assets? Kerryon Johnson is an asset. He really is. And he's an asset that I have to look at and say, is it acceptable to give him 16 touches against the Cardinals? Nope. Is it acceptable to give him 12 touches against the Chargers? No. Now we're coming up on week 3, going against another team full of injuries in the Eagles, and we will be on the road. We have to feed Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon Johnson, TJ Hockenson, and Ty Johnson should have a good game this time around. They're hurting over there. And on defense, we have to be able to get to Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz will make you pay if you don't. We got to find ways to generate pressure. Do I believe we need Deshaun Hand for this game? No. Do I believe we need Deshaun Hand for the game against Kansas City? Nope. Do I believe we need Deshaun Hand for the game against the Green Bay Packers? Yes. Now, y'all may be saying, why not Kansas City, why Green Bay? Because if they go in the first quarter and they've already got a tie, they've already beat the Chargers, they beat the Eagles, that would mean that they would be 2-0-1. And even if they lose to Kansas City, which I do not believe they will, even if they lose to Kansas City, guess what? They are still 2-1-1 going into the bye week. That's not a bad first quarter of football for them. Now, as we go into the second quarter, we start to get more into those October, Novembers, and that's where those playoff teams really show me what they are. That's why I say we don't need them there. But what we can't do is go into a game against a team L'ing at every position and just simply run dive plays. Can't do it. Got to run more stretches. Got to run more sweeps. More wide receiver reverses. We got to run more off balance. You let Fletcher Cox get time to get his motor going, it's going to be a long day. We have got to be better. Okay? Now, some people are shocked because the Lions released Josh Johnson and then they picked up Driscoll. Again, this is another move that is about the power struggle and making sure that you give young guys a chance to play. If you go and watch the film on Blau from out of Purdue, you're going to see that this guy is an athletic, mobile, big arm quarterback. And in the right situation, can be a serious threat. Okay? Even when you go to the game, preseason week 4, he was throwing some nice passes. Still needs work on his mechanics, but for the most part, this is about developing the young guys. Okay? Which brings me to my point of Taylor Decker. And what should we do with Taylor Decker? First thing we need to do with Taylor Decker is let Taylor Decker heal up, because I believe he's still playing hurt. And I believe Terrell Crosby has earned enough respect to be able to play this week coming up against the Eagles. Okay? I am still concerned with play calling and the coaching strategies as it is. Our head coach is still mismanaging games, people. That game against the Chargers should not have been that close. And to anybody who comes in here and say a win is a win, that's a loser's mentality. A win is not a win. Go and tell that to the teams who lose, because a win can't be a win like a loss can't be a loss. It can't. You can't convince the Saints fan base that loss should just be accepted because it's a loss. Y'all lost, move on. Yeah, and the reality of it, it says it's a loss, but the way they lost that game was what was more concerning. And they lost that game way before that flag came out. They lost that game when Sean Payton decided to do the same thing that I see a lot of these coaches do, which is on first down, call a pass play. For what? Understand the situation, understand the down and the distance, and do what you need to do. Why call a pass play there, knowing that if it's an incomplete, it stops the clock? Why do that? That's dumb. That's dumb. That's what the Packers did before Mitchell Trubisky served it up in an interception. That's what gave the Bears an opportunity for the last possession before that interception, because they threw it on first and it stopped the clock. Then they ran it the next 2 plays and they had time on there. So it's dumb. When I look at this team as a whole, we have to be able to address what needs to be fixed. Starting with the defensive line, starting with special teams, starting with run blocking, starting with the lack of running. You fix those things, people, and I'm promising you, you're talking about a team that can go as high as the NFC Championship game. You're talking about a team that can win the division. But you come out and you play the way you did, like you did against the Chargers, and we're not going to beat too many teams. Third down is a crucial down. Sustaining drives is a huge thing. You need to be able to do it. If you look at the play calling on the last 2 drives with Matthew Stafford, where he was phenomenal, the last 2 drives. You look at the play calling there, it was aggressive. It was aggressive. It should be that way in the beginning, which brings me to my next point about coaching. Why are we not doing more no huddles? Why are we not doing more misdirection plays? Okay, they finally called a screen, people. He scored. Okay, why are we not doing these things that we know are winning football? Excuse me. You know, these are the things that we have to look at and say to ourselves, where can we be better at? When we play the Eagles, that is not going to be an easy game, even with the injuries. It's on the road, okay? It's on the road, and on the road, this is hard to win. But this is on the road against a team with a number of injuries. A number of injuries. And the biggest problem that scares me on offense is the fact if they're able to run the ball the same way the Cardinals did on us, the same way the Chargers did on us, I'm worried about it. Because we have to be bigger and better than that. We have to kill they run and make them one-dimensional. They can't have that balance. They should not have that balance. The defensive line would need to step up for us to have that success. And if they don't, we're going to have problems. Our linebacking core has been playing stellar. Do we miss the speed of Jared Davis? Absolutely. But before the season started, all I kept hearing about is Jared Davis this, Jared Davis that. Get rid of Jared Davis. The guy can't tackle. He can't do this. And I kept telling people, you don't understand what it's like to play linebacker, because I did. To play linebacker and you don't have a good defensive lineman in front of you, it's a different beast. It's a different attitude. And the worst part about it is their special teams actually play. Yeah, they special teams on the Eagles actually keep their lanes, actually block for their returner. We have to win that battle. We have to find ways to keep our defense off the field and the offense on the field. That's going to start with play calling and the head coach. So when these weaker games come up and people are asking me who am I picking to win that game, I'm picking Detroit. Before the season started, I had us losing to them. But now they got so many injuries on the Eagles that I'm like, our chances just went up. No Deshaun Jackson. Elshon Jeffries may not even play, and he only took 6 snaps in the last game that they had against the Falcons. 6 snaps. Okay? Now, how many is he going to take this game? And if we learn anything from week 2 and with Darius Slay, you better not let Elshon Jeffries get off like that. You better not let Carson Wentz have time. Because what he'll do is he'll move around in and out of that pocket and he'll find somebody open. I'm afraid for the Eagles' run game and their tight end. Those are the 2 matchups that freak me out the most. But I believe that our defense should step up and rise to the occasion. You're going to see a whole lot of 3 safety sets this game. Oh, you can believe that. Look for some Will Harris's and some Tavon Wilson to be up there covering tight ends. You can believe that. But to me, the real issue is going to be, can we stop that run? Can we kill that run? Because if they get to running, like how I saw, we in trouble. We in trouble. Now, let's address this thing about Jalen Ramsey. Because I'm hearing a lot of talk about fans saying that they want Jalen Ramsey. Oh, go get Jalen Ramsey. Imagine Jalen Ramsey with Darius Slay. They want 2 first-round draft picks for Jalen Ramsey. He is not worth 2 first-round draft picks. I'm sorry. Phenomenal player. Great player. Love the player. 2 first-round draft picks, don't love it. Don't like it. Should not happen. Will not happen. Cannot happen. You telling me that they want to do something crazy where they willing to take a first and we got to give up a first and maybe a 5th? Okay, fine. A first and a 4th? Price tags matter to me because then you still got to re-sign them. And Jalen Ramsey has already shown that when he's upset, he's upset. And our secondary is playing well. He's not worth it. I would much rather them go out and get a guy like Jamal Adams from the Jets. And many of you are going to probably say, but we got Quandre Diggs. We got Tracy Walker. And Jamal Adams can play linebacker. He can play corner. He can play safety. The same thing that Quandre Diggs and Tracy Walker can do. They can all play safety and corner. But I think, having a guy like Jamal Adams at the linebacker spot is a whole lot different than the Quandre Diggs. Now, I'm not suggesting you going to get Jamal Adams to play linebacker. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're going to run a lot of 3 tight end sets anyway. Having him on the field at all, period, creates a problem. Period. Because if you're telling me you're going to put him up against the line and put him in the box, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But would I trade 2 first-round picks for him? No. I'm not trading 2 first-round picks for nobody who does not have a direct effect on the game as a whole. I.e. Aaron Donald, he has a direct effect on the game. He does. You have to account for him. He changes your game plan. He changes the way you do things. It has to be somebody that has a direct effect on the game, and he does not have that. However, he would be better served coming here than Jalen Ramsey, because at least Jamal Adams is a team player. He's about the team. He's about his craft. But these other people that we talking about, yeah, we can't have that. And to me, I'm good on the Jalen Ramsey train. Now, if you telling me they just want a first for Jalen Ramsey, a lot of teams will toss a first out there for Jalen Ramsey. But Jacksonville ain't stupid, because they know that a first for Jalen Ramsey ain't nothing. That's easy. That's light work. So what they say, oh, we want 2 first-round picks or best offer. You know how when you go out and you try to buy a car and the car say $4,000 or best offer? That's what they doing with Jalen Ramsey. I'm not willing to give up 2 first-round picks for him. Not when I'm okay with what I'm seeing from my other guys and I'm not spending all that money on it. The Lions have been doing something that we have been asking that they do for a long time. And that is simply draft well. That's it. Just draft well. They've been doing that. And where we have to understand that this is a good thing is the Lions are in a position to say, forget a Jalen Ramsey and draft their guy. Amani Oruwariye, will he be a Jalen Ramsey? Probably not. But is he going to be a very serviceable, good player? Yes. So keep in mind, when you're looking at this team, you're looking at all the aspects. We have to stop with this idea that we can't blame people. Don't come telling me that we can't blame people, or we can blame certain people but not these people. There are some problems on this team like every other team in the NFL, but we're the Lions. And what that means is we're not fortitude the same luxuries of the benefit of the doubt. They have to start to show people. Right now, the national media still ain't buying into it. You had some people talk about it, like Brandon Marshall. But for the most part, the national media hasn't jumped on it, because guess what? They haven't shown nothing in the first 2 games. You got into a dogfight with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. And you won by 3 points against a team that was hurting on every point while you was at home. That's not impressive. That's why I don't believe in a win is a win. We got problems, but I guarantee you this, we're getting better. We're going to get better. And if we don't, then stay tuned. I'm going to have a different voice. I'm going to have a different view and a different opinion. Okay? the Detroit Lions are in a position to do some things that are going to be different. And that starts off with getting back to what they did in 1991, and that's run that ball. Run it. You got the quarterback, you got the tight end, you got the running back, you got the wide receivers. Run the ball on offense. Okay? On defense, please, anybody, whoever is listening out there from the Detroit Lions team, anybody, go back and tell them, if you don't got enough motivation after all the negativity that has been said about you and this team, then I don't know why you on this team. Because you need, if you need anything else to light a fire underneath your butt, then you need to have that fire be lit on your butt as you walk out the door off this team. They disrespect you every single step of the way, and they don't even attempt to hide it. They're not bashful about it or anything. You have to go out and start to take this thing by the reins. For the first time that I can remember, the Lions went up against 4 teams who are ailing with injuries. Multiple injuries. Cardinals, no starting cornerback out there. None. But they keep playing the same soft prevent man defense in crucial times. And you struggling with them all the way to overtime for a tie, which should have been a win. You go up against a Chargers team with no Derwin James, missing starting cornerbacks. They starting tight end is out in Hunter Henry, and you go out there and stink it up too. Thank God the Chargers were worse. Like if our stink was just regular old human poop, theirs was sewage. It took for their stink to be stronger for us to get the win. I don't want that. We have to step it up, and we have to change the way we do things. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this podcast and this review of this week. Just wanted to kind of touch bases on those few things. Got much more coming. Make sure you stay tuned, and as always, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss no more shows. And remember, don't be no chump. Please do your research.